If you're dreaming of designing the perfect baby nursery for your little one, but feel a little lost and overwhelmed with where to start, what's actually needed, and how to pull the idea in your head into a cohesive room, then this is the podcast for you. Welcome to How to Design Your Baby Nursery, a limited series podcast where we walk through the exact step-by-step process you need to move through to transform your Pinterest vision board into the perfect baby nursery reality. I'm Gabriella Milgrom, a well-seasoned and experienced interior designer and project manager, online interior design coach and mentor, and your host. I'm here to share my actionable, easy to follow design process so you can gain direction on the best way to lay out your nursery room, the whys behind these decisions, inspiration and clarity on color pairings and nursery decor, and confidence that your design and nursery selections are all functional, safe, and beautiful. Each episode will give you design tips, guidance, and action steps to move through the design process with ease. If you're tired of the Pinterest hamster wheel of beautiful images, but no clear direction on how to achieve a similar look, then hit that subscribe button and get ready to dive into your first lesson at Nursery Design School. Hey there, I'm Gabriella, and welcome to How to Design Your Baby Nursery, my limited series podcast. I spent over 15 years as an interior designer for multi-million-dollar residential projects and commercial spaces. So when I got pregnant, I thought designing a nursery was going to be easy and as quick as a snap. But man, was I wrong. The more I researched what was needed for a newborn, the more lost and confused I felt, and the more paralyzed I was over making the wrong decisions. There was so much conflicting information out there on what to buy, what items you had to have, and these picturesque nursery makeover tours, but nothing that really answered the big question of where do I start and what is actually needed. So I put on my project management hat, dove deep into back-end research, and figured out all the ins and outs on all things babies and nurseries. And I've put this series together to help you get out of baby option overload and all the anxiety and stress that comes with making decisions when we aren't 100% certain, so that you can move forward with not only designing a beautiful nursery space, but with the knowledge and clarity that the decisions you're making are functional, safe, and will meet your budget needs. Becoming a mama is hard. And making all those decisions within a limited time span and limited bandwidth, even harder. And it's so easy with all of this pressure to forgo the boring questions and instead jump right into designing and purchasing items right off the bat because we're just so darn excited. And believe me, I get it. It is so much more exciting to buy tiny human clothes and shoes or go and pick out fun wallpaper for the room versus really clarifying and deciding on exactly what it is that we're trying to do and the whys behind it. And you're probably like, Gabby, I'm designing and creating a nursery. Duh. But there is more to it than that. Hear me out. Instead of jumping right into recreating an image that you found online or diving headfirst into the world of Pinterest and inspirational images, I want you to take a step back and first get crystal clear on the needs of the space first. Sit in the room and really pay attention to the room layout. How do you enter that room? Where are the windows located in relationship to the door? Where is the closet located, and how does this affect where you might place items? The airflow quality in the space. Is the air stagnant and hot? Do you have central air conditioning, and how is that air being moved around the room? Heat and temperature. What direction does the room face? How hot and cold is the room naturally? How hot does the room get during peak sun? How cold is it during the winter? Do you have any hot or cold zones? Sound transferent from adjacent spaces or outside. Where is this room in relationship to other rooms in your house? Does it share a wall with other kids' rooms? Or is it directly above your TV room? Do you hear kitchen noises in the room when the door is closed? Really pay attention to all these items and work through them out loud and with your partner. And from these observations and notes, we really start to notice what's working, what's not working, and our red flags that need to be fixed, or aspects of the room layout or qualities that really bother us. These notes become your priority list, the key or critical items that need to be addressed in your nursery design and creation process. And the reason this is such an important step, and the first one that I focus on, is that your priority list sets the stage for everything that you do in the space moving forward. Looking at drapery for your room, but you identified that heat is a huge concern, then you know you need to opt for a thermal drapery option, not just a pretty or bold pattern. Buying a ceiling light, but you notice that airflow and keeping the room cool is a problem, Then you know that your lighting options need to be a ceiling fan with a light or a fandelier, not just a pretty chandelier light fixture. This priority list guides you in making the right design decisions and purchases as you move through the process. It informs you on where you might need to spend more money as you need to solve and fix a major concern, and it helps to create structure to your budget, which we'll get into when we discuss numbers. A lot of us start with the look and feel first. And don't get me wrong, decor and aesthetics are super important. But when we jump right into the look and feel, we're making decisions based on pure desire versus need. And the two have to work together, and they can work together, but those needs need to be defined first. I know, it's not exciting and it's a bit boring, and it might seem pointless. But if you're like me, our nursery space was a guest room that was rarely used, so I very rarely went into it. And if I had not gone through this process, I wouldn't have identified my key priorities and instead would have jumped right into my original design intent, which was wallpaper all the walls and add decorative wainscoting to the bottom half. But through this process, I realized that as lovely as that design direction would have been, I had more pressing issues that needed to be fixed and had to take priority. And if the budget allowed for this original design direction, awesome. But I also knew I could still create a beautiful space in a different way without these design features. So you need to have a priority list nailed down to successfully move through the rest of the design process. Can you do it without? Technically, yes. But I guarantee you that if you don't take this first step, you will design a space that in theory works, but once you start actually using it, a whole bunch of problems and factors you didn't consider start to rear their ugly heads. And by that point, they become costly fixes because integrating the solutions later on might mean redesigning portions of the room or spending money on additional items that you didn't think of, which blows your budget. And we all know that our household budgets become a little bit tighter when a new baby comes into the picture. So this is step number 1, planning out your nursery needs and priorities. And the rest of this series builds on this step. And I'll be walking you through how to layer on the rest of the design decisions and how they relate and feed off one another. And by the end, you'll know exactly how to create a beautiful and functional space that hits all your mama and baby needs. Thanks for listening. Make sure you grab your workbook for additional design prompts, questions, and video trainings. Head on over to gabriellamilgrom.co/nursery to grab your copy. And be sure to follow me on Instagram at gabriellamilgrom.co and tag me as you work through your own nursery design journey. Stay tuned for our next episode.